All right. Let me just go ahead and grab this. Let's see how long I can keep this eye open for. I might as well just talk about the Book of Caleb, that journal. I'm not going to make it public until after I gain fame, if that even happens to begin with. If I do gain fame, once I have enough, I'll release it. Because I talk about more adult things in the Book of Caleb. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it down off the dock, copy it, make an age-restricted video with that link to the Book of Caleb. Because because the Book of Caleb would be more for adults to read. The other stuff, I don't know, there's nothing in there that I need to change that notice. There, I updated the disclaimer. Don't get mad if you have young ones read my writings and they're exposed to some content. This is your warning. I say this specifically about the Book of Caleb. Regardless, just read all my writings first before considering giving it to young ones, just in case. The books/journals are safe except for the Book of Caleb for children. I should say that. Plan to keep it that way. Stream 3 was a good stream. That was Saturday. Now it's Monday the 24th. I'm going to stream a lot over Thanksgiving break. I should plan to stream maybe 2 hours each day. I might not do that, but that would be interesting. Might as well entertain those who decide to watch all of my streams just because my bed's messy. Ignore this. Let me just... My bed is totally not messy. Whatever. Anyways, this. You know what it does? Got it a few years ago from Cracker Barrel. Was it a gift? I don't remember if this was a gift to me or not, but well, from Cracker Barrel, and they have such unique stuff, Cracker Barrel. Like hold on, let me pull something up. Because at Cracker Barrel, they have like these massive what is it? Reese's, like these massive Reese's, these massive candy bars. They're just huge. I remember buying like one of the massive Reese's, then cutting it up into quarters, and it was still a chunk. Like, I'd say a quarter of one of those Reese's things was a little bit smaller than this, but it was huge. And yeah, that was how many years ago? It was a while ago. I really don't eat sweets anymore. Any artificial stimulus I try to avoid or avoid it to the best of my ability. Because none of that stuff, that artificial stimulus, is going to be in heaven. Because it is displeasing to God. God wants your heart, not He wants your genuine heart, not your like like sex isn't going to be in heaven. Taste. I actually don't know if taste is going to be in heaven or not. It makes sense either way. Like I can see both sides of it. Like we could have food, like whether there's food or not in heaven is a good question too, because our bodies, we need food to be sustained. In Octotheism, God cannot break the laws of physics. God can't break the laws of physics. So how would our bodies be sustained? There's energy that our body expels. Unless we have like some kind of photosynthesis in us or something similar to that, we'd have to eat. We'd have to be plugged in maybe or charged up. So I guess there's many ways that I can't think of. Only God knows. There's probably some really smart way to keep our bodies energized whilst not having any artificial stimulus present. So maybe we won't have taste buds in heaven. Maybe if we do have to eat, God just says, eat this food, but we don't have taste buds and we eat it anyway. This is my thought. Now, if somebody offers me food, like, I don't know, a chocolate bar, or let me put this back. Now, if somebody offers me, I don't know, like, what are those called? Those little rings? Peach rings? The gummies? If somebody offers me that to make them feel good, I'll just have a few. I did that earlier today, actually, because my mom went to the store today, bought some peach rings, and knowing her and not having one would kind of hurt her, so she said, "Hey, do you want one?" I was like, "All right, I'll have one." So I had one, I ate it in front of her so she could see me eat it, and then I just put the rest in the refrigerator because she asked for some. She wanted some herself, so I just gave her a few, and then I just had one, put it back in the fridge. Because a good biblical example of another exception would be with Abraham and the angels. Because they came to him, and Abraham offered them food, not knowing they were angels. So they said, "You know what? Do what you said you would do." And so Abraham made them food, and they ate the food. They didn't eat the food for sustenance. They didn't eat the food for taste. They did it to make Abraham happy. And that is just one of many exceptions. When it comes to gluttony, there are more exceptions than any other sin, in my opinion. There's a lot of exceptions, and you just got to play your cards right. So it's up to you on what you should and should not do. If you go to a store or a gas station, you're a truck driver, and you go to a gas station and you're really thirsty, but you're low on money. Like, how much do truck drivers get paid? I'm going to search that. They make a lot of money. A lot more money than I thought they would. Huh. Anyways, let's say you're low on money and you want to save money. You go to a gas station and the soda is cheaper than the water, which is true. Soda can be cheaper than water. But if you want to save money, go for the soda. Go for the soda if you want to save money. Yeah, at gas stations, sometimes soda is cheaper than water, which is it's true. Sometimes it is. Is soda cheaper than water? Whoa, I did not mean to do that. Is soda cheaper than water at gas stations? Hey, I'm doing good. I've done a lot of thinking since the last stream, the stream on Saturday, about what was it? I have a new argument now for saying what the anger property is. I have a new argument, or argument that I probably had to begin with but forgot. Because of Jesus's property values. His anger is 100%. The inverse of forgiveness is 0%. The faith/grace is 100%, and the love is 100%. But when we look at the 4 horsemen in Revelation, one of the horsemen is Jesus. And if these 4 horsemen are enacting judgment on the earth, and Jesus is forgiving, there has to be another judgment property, because the 2 judgment properties are the inverse of forgiveness and anger. Those are the judgment properties. We know Jesus is forgiving. Jesus is forgiving. So what else could there be? There has to be some other judgment property at play, because how else would Jesus be able to punish the world? So that's where the tendency to have anger comes from, that property. And what else? What did they bring up in that last stream? Stream 3. This is stream 5 now. I streamed earlier today. What did they bring up? They were bringing up circumstantial evidence. I kept saying circumstantial evidence. I guess a better way to put it is coincidental evidence. So coincidence as in, I don't know if I showed it to you yet. So I have that. Just give me a second. I gotta grab out. If I can find it, that'd be great. So coincidental evidence. So they were. Hey man, I can't say much longer, so I can say. It's all right. It's fine. See you later. Anyways, for if anybody is watching, I don't know if anyone's watching or not. Circumstantial evidence. So the devil is evil, by the way, but these are the property values of the 8 spirits of the devil. And in Revelation 13, there are 8 heads of the devil, and each head is a spirit of the devil. Each 100% property value. Each filled in box is a horn on these 8 spirits of the devil. So if you list out all 8 possibilities that are a spirit of the devil, so and you count up all the black boxes. So we have 3 here, 2 here, that makes 5, 6, 7, and then we have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have 12 filled in boxes. And in Revelation 13, across the 8 heads of the devil, there's a total of 12 horns. So when I say circumstantial evidence, or I mean to say coincidence evidence, it's stuff like that. The only number of properties that works is 4. 3 doesn't work, 5 doesn't work, but 4 works. And the equation for the number of spirits of God there are depending on the number of properties, is 2 to the number of properties minus 1. So if there's 4 properties, 2 to the 4 minus 1. 4 minus 1 is 3. 2 cubed is 8. So in octotheism, octo means 8, theism means belief in God, we believe that there are 8 spirits who have God like this. I'd say the first point when trying to spread octotheism that you should bring up, or any argument, any piece of the circumstantial evidence, if you're trying to spread it, the first argument you should bring up is either Ezekiel 9 or Revelation 13. If you don't have much time talking with the person, do Ezekiel 9 and say, hey, the 8 spirits of God are in Ezekiel 9. But if you have more time, you can talk about Revelation 13. And if you have even more time, you can loop back to Revelation chapter 4, and you can talk about the 24 elders and their property values. Because of all of the arguments in octotheism, in my opinion, what the most convincing point is deals with the property values of the 24 elders. That is the most convincing point. Well, Daniel 7 is also huge. It is huge. Daniel 7 is huge. Let me see if I have anything for that. I know I do. I just need to find it in here. That's not working. I could have sworn I had it. Oh, I'm stupid. Here it is. The most convincing part of Daniel 7 is here. And these are spirits of the devil, by the way. Love is the last box, and that's empty. The devil's evil, but yeah, and here it writes 4 possibilities, and there's 4 heads. And this is the property of the bear from Daniel 7, the property values of the bear. Daniel 7 only speaks of spirits of the devil, but love for the spirits of the devil is empty. It's 0. It's zilch. So let's just ignore this guy. Hold on, let me ignore that guy. Ignore this white box. We have 3 white ribs in its mouth. And each white rib is a 0% property value. So it goes 0, 0, 0. We know love for the spirit of the devil is 0. The devil's evil. But we know love is 0. So we can say, hey, these 3, each rib is a empty box. That's probably the second most convincing point in Daniel 7. The first beast in Daniel 7 is huge. Not necessarily that it's the most convincing, but, well, it is pretty convincing. But it puts together a puzzle. It links really closely with Revelation chapter 13. This beast. Let me just fold it like that. So red is anger. It's green. Let me see. Do I have that right? Hold on. That's right. Okay. Yeah. Anger is red. Inverse of forgiveness is blue. And faith/grace is green. And love is yellow. These are the property values of the first beast in Daniel 7. This guy. In Revelation 13, we have the earth beast. This is the property values of that earth beast. The earth beast only has 1 head. Here's a little bit more complicated, because the sea beast has 7 heads. And the center head on the sea beast, the one with the fatal wound that was healed, is this beast, or this guy. These are the property values. I want to show you something. Look at Jesus's property values. Red, green, yellow. And then look here. Red, green, no yellow. Same property values, but it's just loveless. So, and in Revelation 13, the head with the fatal wound that was healed on one of the spirits of the devil leads me to believe that before the rapture, the devil is going to do something similar to what Jesus did. And it's going to catch a lot of people off guard if Octotheism does not spread. And I believe that if Octotheism doesn't spread by then, they're going to have their own, they're going to try to spread the idea of properties and property values. They may not call it that, but they're going to try to spread that idea and say, oh, hey, there's 8 spirits of the devil, 8 spirits of God. And they do that. But if Octotheism spreads before the devil comes to the earth, that's good. So we get the upper hand. But I don't know. It's kind of a race of time. Well, God's the one in control. What he wants to have happen, he's going to let it happen. So we shouldn't be worried. But we need to be prepared, because what if this does happen? Like tomorrow? What if this happens 1,000 years from now? We don't know. But we know it's going to happen before the rapture. It's going to happen probably a while before the rapture. Maybe a 2,000-year gap. I mean, it's been 2,000 years since Jesus died and rose from the dead. Now, finally, something's happening. Octotheism. Maybe 2,000 years later, the son of Satan decides to mock Jesus and do something similar. Then, 2,000 years after that, the tribulation, the rapture, Jesus' second coming. Who knows? Who knows the time frames? 2,000 years could be as little as 10 and could be as many as 100,000. It could be, we don't know. We have no clue. There's 4 beasts in Daniel 7, and I only talked about 3 of them. Because the last beast in Daniel 7 is the least convincing. But I made a good illustration here. I'll just fold it like this. A 6 is 100%. A 1 is 0%. And there's 3 horns. Each horn is a 100%. Why can't I see my face? There we go. There's my face. Revelation 13:18 says, let the one who is understanding calculate the number of the beast. The number is 666. The number of a person. Something like that. Yeah, let me... Revelation 13:18. Here is wisdom. Let him who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. His number is 666. The oldest manuscripts of Revelation had 616 as the number of the beast, and that's actually correct. 616 is the correct one. 666 is for Satan. 616 is for the son of Satan. So, Octotheism, we believe I'm the one who solved the puzzle. Anyone who tries to solve the puzzle is allowed to. It's a free-for-all. I just happen to be first. There's a lot of names on here. Then I scribbled it all out. For those who believe this argument is convincing only. Signature, please, first plus last. I need to proselytize more. I mean, I was able to get all these people, and that was just in high school, senior year of high school. 2 years ago. Wow, it's been 2 years, 2.5 years since I founded Octotheism. Crazy. Crazy. Why not rant about 0 divided by 0? Zero divided by 0. It's undefined. What does that mean, undefined? Means it's not defined. Means it could be any value. Think of it this way. What's 0 times 1? 0. 0 times 2? 0. What's 0 times 3? 0. What's 0 times 4? 0. So what's 0 over 0? Could be any of those values. Any of those answers are valid. So 0 over 0 is undefined because you don't know which one of those values is correct. But they all work. Would infinity work? 0 over 0? I think it might. No. Because I want to introduce you to indeterminate forms. 0 over 0 is indeterminate. And believe it or not, 1 times infinity, or 1 to the infinity, I should say. 1 to the infinity is indeterminate. 1 to the infinity is undefined. It's not necessarily 1. It could be any other value. 1 to the infinity could be 0. 1 to the infinity could be infinity. Wait. That's actually wrong. 1 to the infinity can't be infinity. But 1 to the infinity can be, I don't know, 1,000. It works. But like Google indeterminate forms, and you'll see a whole bunch of things like 0 over 0, 1 to the infinity, infinity minus infinity. Is that indeterminate? I think it is. Think of it this way. Like, let's do infinity minus infinity. I really like that one. If you got a well, I have a ruler. If you got a well, and it's filled to here, where my finger is, and you add an infinite amount of water, then you take away an infinite amount of water. It's suddenly empty. Now, let's say you have the same water level. You take away an infinite amount of water. Then you add an infinite amount of water. Now, it's infinitely full. It depends on which infinity is fixed or not. The fixed infinity is smaller than the unfixed infinity. The fixed infinity is what happens first. You add water to the well. That's the fixed infinity. Then you subtract the unfixed infinity. And that unfixed infinity carries more weight. It is bigger than the fixed infinity. Order matters. Anyway, infinity minus infinity, which one's fixed? Which one's unfixed? You don't know, so it's indeterminate. It could be 1, it could be 0, it could be 1,000. It could be negative infinity, it could be positive infinity. You don't know unless you're in a, like we do this well example. If you know you're emptying the well first, then filling it up, you know what the end result is going to be. So, and it's also possible for infinity minus infinity to be 0. That's a possibility. If they're both fixed infinities, it works. If you have water and a well here, and you have two pumps, one pump is putting water in, and the other pump is taking water out, but they're doing it at the same rate. You let it run for an eternity, and at the end of the eternity, where's the water level going to be? It's going to be where it was to begin with. Am I wrong? I might be wrong. Well, let me think on this. Because you take away and you put in at the same rate. I'm wrong. Because 0 times infinity is indeterminate. Let me actually Google that real quick. Yeah, 0 times infinity is not 0. Well, it could be. But 0 times infinity is indeterminate, it's undefined. 5 works. 1,000 works. 0 works. I don't know. Could it be infinity? 0 times infinity being infinity. Would that work? I don't know. Actually brings up a good question. If 0 times x equals infinity, what is x? Bigger than infinity? Double infinity? My brain. It's hurting just thinking about that. I'm going to Google that. Double infinity. What is an infinite amount of infinities called? Hold on. There's an infinite number of sizes for infinity. So a thought that crossed my mind is, what if you take the square root of infinity and multiply it by the square root of infinity? Well, the square root of infinity is just infinity. So it's just infinity times infinity, which equals infinity. So you can divide infinity from both sides. So infinity over infinity equals infinity. And from there, you can say infinity has an infinite amount of sizes. So if infinity divided by infinity equals infinity, saying 0 times infinity makes sense. Because 0 times infinity could equal infinity. Because infinity could be different sizes. Because infinity could be infinity times bigger than infinity. I think. Does that make sense? I don't know. I love infinity. It's so cool. There's like a piece of metal on here. It's kind of sharp. I wonder, can it cut hair? Playing with a pencil sharpener. What's inside this guy? this guy. Pencil lead. Took it apart, now I can't put it back together. Cool. I can do this. No, I missed it. Oh, there we go. I'm dead. Oh no, I'm so dead. Mud.